Most men chase women so hard they don't even realize they're pushing them away. My friend, let's be honest. You've probably been in that spot where she goes cold, pulls back, and suddenly you're the one texting first, overthinking every silence and trying to figure out what changed. You feel that tightness in your chest because you know you're losing ground, and the more you try to fix it, the more she slips away. And here is the brutal truth nobody told you. Women don't chase the man who reacts. They chase the man they can't figure out. The man who holds his line. The man who doesn't panic when she becomes distant. The man who understands female psychology well enough to know that silence, restraint, and emotional self-control are not weakness. They are power. Today I'm going to show you exactly how men create their own downfall without meaning to, and how a few simple shifts in your behavior flip the entire dynamic. When you learn how desire works in a woman's mind, especially younger women, you stop playing catch-up and you become the one she moves toward. If you're tired of being the chaser, tired of being predictable and ready to understand how to make her feel that pull in her body again, stay with me. Let's get into it. Number 1. The desire she creates when you say nothing. My friend, let's get real. Younger women react to silence differently than men do. When a man goes quiet, he usually means exactly that. He is tired, distracted, or simply not in the mood to talk. But when you go quiet, especially as an older man with presence, something shifts inside her. She starts paying attention, and she starts wondering. A younger woman is used to getting attention instantly. Messages, emojis, validation, quick responses. Most guys can't help themselves. They rush in the moment. They feel her slipping away. But when you don't jump at every opportunity to prove yourself, that silence becomes a mirror. It forces her to notice the space. It forces her to feel the gap. And that gap becomes desire. Let me give you a real example so you see how this plays out in the real world. There is a guy named Mark, a 52-year-old contractor from Arizona, recently divorced, getting back into dating after years out of the game. He meets Haley, a 29-year-old graphic designer. They hit it off, had great chemistry, and texted for a few days. But as soon as Haley pulled back a little, Mark panicked. He started double texting, trying to keep the conversation going. Sending jokes, checking in, trying to look interested. He didn't mean to chase, but he did. And guess what happened? Haley got bored. She felt no tension, no space, no mystery. She felt nothing pulling her toward him. Now compare that to what happened when he finally stopped reacting so fast. He didn't ignore her. He simply stopped forcing the interaction. He didn't try to fill every silence. He didn't send follow-up messages. He took a step back and returned to his life. And suddenly Haley was the one texting first. She was the one asking, "Did you disappear?" She leaned in because that small taste of uncertainty created desire all on its own. That is how silence works, folks. It is not a punishment. It is not a tactic. It is simply removing the pressure so she can feel the natural pull that men destroy when they chase. And women feel this deeply. Younger women especially. They crave contrast. They want to feel the difference between a man who centers his life around them and a man who centers his life around himself. Silence reveals which one you are. When you stop reacting instantly, she starts wondering what you are doing. When you stop filling every moment, she starts imagining. When you stop chasing, she starts leaning in. A Stoic understands this better than anyone. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. Desire is no different. It is built in the space you allow, not the words you force. Now, my friend, before we move on, I want you to tell me something in the comments. What is the biggest mistake you've made when she pulled back? Drop a simple line, "I stopped chasing." Say it to claim it. Stick with me, because the next part exposes the reaction trap that kills your power without you noticing. You don't want to miss this. Number 2. The emotional trap you fall into without noticing. My friend, let's be straight. The moment a woman pulls back, most men fall into the same emotional trap without even realizing it. It happens fast and it happens quietly. One minute you feel confident, grounded, in control. The next minute you're checking your phone, replaying conversations, wondering what you said wrong, and slipping into a mindset that kills attraction instantly. This trap is simple. She pulls away. You panic. And instead of staying centered, you start reacting to your own anxiety. You text first because you feel uneasy. You reach out because you feel ignored. You talk more because she talks less. You move closer because she moves away. And every single one of those reactions signals the exact thing she loses: desire for neediness. You're not chasing her. You're chasing your own discomfort. And here is where Stoicism becomes powerful as hell. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." When a man responds from fear, that reaction is neither right nor true. It is not grounded in who he is. It is grounded in who he is afraid of losing. Women feel this shift instantly. Younger women feel it even faster. They sense when your energy changes. They sense when your calm becomes nervousness. They sense when your presence turns into pursuit. It is not the words you say. It is the emotional state behind them. That is what makes this trap so dangerous. You don't notice you're in it. You think you are showing interest, being respectful, keeping the conversation alive. But underneath all of that is insecurity. And insecurity is the strongest repellent in female psychology. When you don't notice your emotional shift, you start giving away power piece by piece. You ask questions you wouldn't normally ask. You reply faster than you normally do. You try harder than you normally would. You over-communicate, over-explain, over-chase. Not because you want to, but because you fear losing her. A grounded man never moves from fear. A desperate man only moves from fear. This is why silence felt powerful in the first place. It wasn't the lack of words, it was the lack of emotional reaction. You were calm, you were steady, you were not chasing certainty, and that steadiness created desire. But the moment you fall into the emotional trap, you break that frame. And when you break the frame, she loses interest, because her attraction was built on the version of you that remained centered, not the version of you that spirals when she tests you. That's the truth nobody told you. Most of what women do in early stages is not rejection. It is a test of your emotional regulation, your boundaries, and your self-respect. When you pass, attraction grows. When you react, attraction dies. So here is the shift you need to make. Stop reacting to the story in your head. Stop assuming her silence means you lost. Stop trying to solve a problem she never asked you to solve. As Epictetus said, you are disturbed not by events, but by your thoughts about them. Your emotional trap is not her behavior. It is your interpretation of it. Before we move on, tell me this in the comments to anchor it. I choose control. 3 simple words, but they define the man she wants. Stay with me, because next we talk about the power shift that happens the moment you stop chasing. You don't want to miss this. Number 3. The power shift when you stop chasing. My friend, let's talk about the moment everything flips. Most men think power in a connection comes from effort, from showing interest, from giving energy, from proving you care. But the truth is far more brutal and far more freeing. Power shifts the second you stop chasing, the second you stop reacting to her distance, the second you let the silence breathe. You've probably lived this without even realizing it. When you chase, she relaxes. When you push forward, she leans back. When you try harder, she feels safer doing nothing. Women don't say this out loud, but it is built into the psychology of attraction. The more available you appear, the less desirable you become. Let me give you a real example. There's a guy named David, 47, from Colorado. Runs his own small business, stays in good shape, solid guy. He meets Alyssa, a 31-year-old nurse. They hit it off quickly. But David got excited and started doing what most men do without noticing. He texted first every morning, always initiated plans, always checked in, always made the effort. At first she liked it. Then she got comfortable. Then she got distant. She didn't lose interest because he was a bad guy. She lost interest because she no longer felt the pull. Now here is where it changed. After a conversation with a buddy, David stopped chasing, not to play games, but to reclaim his balance. He focused on his business again. He responded when he had time. He stopped initiating every conversation. He didn't disappear. He just stopped overextending. And the moment he did, Alyssa shifted. She initiated first. She asked where he'd been. She became warm again. The power didn't come from manipulation. It came from alignment. When a man stops chasing, he stops breaking his own frame. And a woman feels that instantly. Younger women especially notice this. They are used to attention being easy, validation coming quickly, men folding fast. But when you don't fold, when you hold your line, when you stay calm, when she pulls away, you stand out at a level she can't ignore. This is where Stoicism shows its strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." When you stop chasing, that's exactly what happens. You move back toward your center. You stop seeking comfort through her responses. You stop bending your energy around her moods. You stop abandoning your responsibilities for a hit of attention. And that calmness becomes magnetic. Men lose power when they make women their emotional compass. Men regain power when they make themselves the priority again. And here is the part that surprises most men. When you stop chasing, you don't lose her. You give her space to feel her own desire again. Women do not chase men who suffocate them with certainty. They chase men who give them room to feel curiosity. Curiosity becomes attachment. Attachment becomes desire. That is the power shift you unlock the moment you stop running after her. Now, my friend, before we go deeper into this dynamic, I want you to leave something in the comments. Anchor this in your mind with the words, "I hold my frame." Stay tuned, because next we get into the reverse pull that makes her move toward you without you lifting a finger. You don't want to miss this. Number 4, the reverse pull that makes her move toward you. My friend, this is where the game flips in a way most men never understand. The moment you stop chasing, something subtle but powerful begins to shift inside her. It is not manipulation. It is not a trick. It is simply human psychology working the way it always has. What is freely available becomes background noise. What is harder to access becomes valuable. When you stop moving toward her, she begins to feel the reverse pull that makes her move toward you. Let's be real. A younger woman is used to men filling the silence. She is used to validation before she even earns it. She is used to men racing to convince her they are worth her time. So when a man does the opposite, when a man responds calmly, slowly, or not at all, her mind cannot help but shift focus. At first she notices the space, then she notices the absence, then she notices the curiosity growing inside her. That curiosity is the seed of the reverse pull. This happens because your silence creates contrast. When you stop trying to close the distance, she begins to feel it. When you stop giving her emotional certainty, she begins to seek it. When your energy stops flowing toward her, she begins wondering why. And that question is the spark of desire. Stoics understood this long before dating coaches existed. Epictetus wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." You cannot control her reactions. You cannot control her interest. What you can control is your focus, your emotional center, and your willingness to remain unmoved when she pulls back. That is where the reverse pull begins. The less you react, the more she feels. The more you stay grounded, the more she becomes aware of her own behavior. The less you chase, the more she evaluates why she was pulling away in the first place. This is the moment she reconsiders. This is the moment she looks back at you. This is the moment she becomes aware of your value again. Women never tell you this, but absence is one of the few forces that can shift their emotions without a single word. Not because you abandoned her, but because you stopped pursuing validation. When she realizes you are not waiting on her messages, her mood, or her attention, she feels the shift. And she responds. The reverse pull works because you refuse to be pulled. It works because you stop reacting to every move she makes. It works because you choose composure over panic. This is where most men fail. They think distance is dangerous. They think silence means she will forget. They think pulling back means losing her. But in the world of attraction, the opposite is true. Your restraint creates the chase. Your calm creates the tension. Your stillness creates the spark. Now, my friend, before we move to the next part, I want you to anchor this shift with a simple comment. I choose restraint. It is a promise to yourself, not to her. And listen, if you want deeper training, unfiltered breakdowns, and step-by-step masculine frameworks I cannot share publicly, consider joining as a channel member. The members area is where I teach the advanced Stoic and psychological strategies that actually change a man's life. Stay with me, because next we talk about the mystery your silence builds inside her. You don't want to miss this. Number 5. The mystery your silence builds inside her. My friend, let's be real. Silence is not just the absence of words. In the mind of a younger woman, silence is a canvas. When you're not talking, she starts painting. She fills in the blanks with her own curiosity, her own assumptions, and her own desire. And the more confident and self-contained you are, the more intense that curiosity becomes. Younger women are used to immediate access. They're used to men who text back fast, overshare, and explain every emotion like it's their job. So when you don't do any of that, your silence hits differently. It makes her stop. It makes her think. It makes her wonder what is happening on your side of the world. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. There's a man named Chris, 55, retired military, now running a small security business in Texas. Stoic, calm, grounded. He meets Natalie, a 30-year-old yoga instructor. They click fast. She loves his presence, his confidence, his grounded energy. But the moment she feels that attraction, she does what many younger women do. She pulls back to test what he will do with uncertainty. Chris doesn't chase. He doesn't panic. He doesn't jump into long emotional explanations. He stays centered. He responds when he feels like responding. He keeps living his life. And in the silence, he leaves something powerful starts forming inside Natalie. She starts imagining what he's doing. She starts guessing if he's thinking about her. She starts feeling that small pressure inside her chest that says, "Why am I thinking about this guy so much?" That right there is mystery. And mystery is one of the strongest attraction amplifiers in female psychology. Women don't talk about it openly, but they crave the emotional tension of uncertainty. Not chaos, not manipulation, just the subtle question mark your presence leaves. Silence gives her room to feel that question mark, and the more she feels it, the more she thinks about you. This is why your silence works. Not because it creates fear, but because it creates imagination. Imagination is what builds emotional pull. Imagination is what makes her replay your last interaction. Imagination is what makes her want to reach out first. And here is the part most men never understand. When you stay quiet, she thinks about you. When you talk too much, she gets used to having you. Mystery dies in abundance. Mystery grows in space. Younger women especially feel this contrast. They are overstimulated, over-validated, constantly surrounded by attention. But when they meet a man who doesn't rush to be understood, who doesn't dump his feelings into the conversation, who doesn't need to prove himself, they feel something different in their body. It is interest mixed with tension. curiosity mixed with desire. Your silence becomes a presence. Your calmness becomes a message. Your restraint becomes attraction. And that is what makes mystery so powerful. It is not created by hiding. It is created by being selective. Women don't want every detail of your life. They want the feeling that there is more to learn, more to uncover, more to experience. Now, my friend, before we go to the next part, I want you to drop a simple line in the comments to claim this mindset. I allow mystery. Stick with me because the next part breaks down the distance that makes her respect you again. You don't want to miss this. Number 6. The distance that makes her respect you again. My friend, let's be real for a moment. When a woman starts losing respect for a man, it almost never happens overnight. It's a slow shift. A small change in tone, a subtle pause in her replies, a colder energy in her voice. And most men react to that shift by doing the very thing that destroys their position completely. They try harder. They become more available, more emotional, more invested, more present. And the more they give, the less she respects them. See, respect is tied to boundaries. And the moment you start abandoning your boundaries to keep her close, she feels it instantly. She might not say it, she might not even understand it consciously, but the energy changes. Your presence stops feeling masculine, it starts feeling needy. Distance is what resets that imbalance. Not distance as a punishment, not distance as manipulation, but distance as a return to yourself. When you pull your energy back, when you stop reacting to her mood swings, when you stop letting her inconsistency dictate your behavior, something shifts inside her. She may not admit it, but she feels grounded by your restraint. This is where Stoicism becomes more than a philosophy. It becomes a filter. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Distance is a reminder of that power. You are not withdrawing because she disappointed you. You are withdrawing because you refuse to operate from fear. You are withdrawing because you refuse to lose yourself in the process of wanting her. And that kind of distance commands respect. Women respect men who do not collapse under emotional pressure. Women respect men who don't panic when they feel a shift. Women respect men who stay calm in the storm. When you create distance, she starts noticing the parts of you she took for granted. The steadiness, the presence, the masculine calm she once leaned into. She begins to understand that your attention was not free, it was earned. And that recognition changes everything. She starts re-evaluating how she spoke to you. She replays the last few interactions. She feels a small sting of loss, even if she doesn't admit it. And that sting is important. It reminds her that your time and your energy are not unlimited. Younger women especially respond to this. They are used to attention following them everywhere they go. But when the one man they actually found intriguing steps back, that's when respect returns. Distance works because it reintroduces the one thing she stopped feeling from you, your self-worth. Men lose respect when they crowd a woman's space. They regain respect when they reclaim their own. And here is the real beauty of it. Distance doesn't require anger. It doesn't require coldness. It doesn't require a performance. All it requires is discipline. The discipline to stay in your lane. The discipline to keep your focus on your life. The discipline to let her feel the absence instead of filling it for her. That discipline is masculine. That discipline is rare. And that discipline rebuilds the respect you thought was gone forever. Before we move forward, drop a simple line in the comments to anchor this in your mind. I choose discipline. Stay tuned, because next, we talk about the shift she notices the moment you detach. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Number 7. The signal she feels when you finally detach. My friend, here's the truth most men never realize. A woman does not react to your words the way she reacts to your energy. She reads tone, pacing, presence, and most of all, the emotional signature behind everything you do. And when you finally detach, when your focus shifts back to your life, your purpose, your routine, she feels that shift like a signal in her body. Not because you announced anything, not because you tried to make her jealous, but because your energy stopped pointing toward her. And women feel that instantly. Let me show you how this plays out with a real example. There's a man named Ryan, a 50-year-old paramedic from Florida. High-stress job, disciplined guy. But when he started seeing Morgan, a 28-year-old fitness trainer, he fell into the same trap many older men fall into with younger women. He got attached too fast. He made her the center of his attention without even realizing it. The moment she pulled back a little, he shifted. He started checking her social media more, texting sooner, thinking more about the next date than about his own life. And Morgan picked up on that instantly. Not because he said anything, but because his emotional focus had turned toward her. Attraction dropped. Respect dropped. The dynamic shifted. But here's where it gets interesting. When Ryan finally caught himself and detached, things changed. He didn't disappear. He didn't punish her. He didn't create drama. He simply returned to who he was before the pullback. He trained again, slept better, focused on his work, hung out with his buddies. The version of himself she first liked came back online, and Morgan felt that shift immediately. Women are incredibly sensitive to emotional pressure. When a man detaches, the pressure dissolves. She suddenly feels space again, and that space makes her curious. It makes her wonder what happened. It makes her question her assumptions. It makes her rethink how much she matters to you. That curiosity becomes the spark that pulls her back. This is what men don't understand. Detachment is not coldness. Detachment is not anger. Detachment is not manipulation. Detachment is emotional independence. When you detach, she feels three things at once. She feels the loss of your attention. She feels the return of your strength. And she feels the shift in power. Women respond to that shift because masculine detachment is rare. It signals a man who cannot be controlled by mood swings, silence, or inconsistency. It signals a man who values himself more than the attention he gets. It signals a man who can walk away if necessary. Younger women especially react to this. They are used to men folding fast. But when a man doesn't fold, their interest resets. And here's the most important part. Your detachment activates something inside her. It makes her look inward. It makes her reconsider her behavior. It makes her think about the last thing she said or did. It makes her want to move in your direction again. That is the signal she feels, even if she never says it out loud. Before we move on, lock this in by dropping a short line in the comments. I hold my value. Don't go anywhere, because next we dive into the curiosity you trigger with absence. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Number 8. The curiosity your absence forces her to face. My friend, let's keep it real. A woman can ignore your messages. She can distract herself. She can even convince herself she doesn't care. But there is one thing she cannot ignore, no matter how hard she tries. The curiosity that grows in the silence you leave behind. When you pull back and return to your life, something interesting happens inside her mind. She starts asking questions she wasn't asking before. Not because you're playing games, but because your absence removes predictability. And predictability is the enemy of desire. See, when you were always available, she never had to think. She never had to wonder. She never had to imagine. She always knew what you'd say, how fast you'd reply, and how ready you were to engage. That certainty felt nice for her ego, but it did nothing for her attraction. But when you create even a small amount of space, her mind starts working again. She wonders what you're doing. She wonders why you went quiet. She wonders if you're thinking about her, or if someone else is. And the more she tries to push the thought away, the more it returns. This is why absence is powerful, not because it punishes her, but because it creates room for her own desire to breathe. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your absence paints her thoughts with uncertainty, and that uncertainty deepens the emotional impact you have on her. She starts replaying conversations in her head. She starts analyzing her tone, her last message, her attitude. She starts wondering if she misread the dynamic. She starts thinking about the version of you she felt drawn to before things shifted. And here's the thing she will never admit even to herself. She notices when your energy is no longer wrapped around her. Women are intuitive. They feel emotional distance long before they understand it logically. They can sense when a man has shifted back into his purpose, his routine, his self-respect. And even if she was drifting away before she suddenly feels a subtle pull inside her. Absence does not make every woman chase, but absence forces every woman to confront her thoughts. And confronting those thoughts is where attraction often reignites. This matters even more with younger women. They are used to instant gratification. They are used to men collapsing quickly. They are used to emotional access on demand. So when a man doesn't give that, their curiosity spikes harder than you think. And the funny thing is, your absence highlights one truth she cannot ignore. You are not dependent on her attention. That realization is rare for her. And rare things create emotional value. This is why detachment works. Not because she fears losing you, but because she begins to feel the space where your presence used to be. And that space becomes a vacuum her mind tries to fill. Your absence becomes the story she tells herself. Your silence becomes the tension she feels in her body. Your distance becomes the spark she didn't expect. Now, my friend, to anchor this lesson, drop a simple line in the comments, "I create space." Stay with me because next we break down the pullback that makes her revalue you completely. You don't want to miss this. Number 9. The pullback that makes her revalue you. My friend, let's talk about one of the strongest psychological shifts a woman can experience. It happens quietly, it happens internally, and it only happens when a man stops pushing for connection and starts living like a man who knows his worth. This pullback is not petty. It is not emotional revenge. It is a reset. And women feel this reset deeply, especially younger women who are used to men chasing without hesitation. When you stop giving her the emotional comfort she didn't appreciate, she suddenly has to evaluate what you actually meant to her. And that evaluation often hits harder than you think. Let me paint this clearly through a real-world example. There's a man named Jason, 54, a firefighter from Ohio. Solid career, grounded personality, masculine energy without trying. He meets Brianna, a 27-year-old hairstylist. Sparks fly instantly. But as things progress, she starts getting comfortable, too comfortable. Her replies slow down. She becomes less warm. She invests less effort. And Jason, like many good men, didn't notice the shift at first. He just kept showing up. But then she cancelled a date last minute, and something inside him clicked. Not anger, not jealousy, just clarity. He realized he was giving more than he was receiving. So he pulled back. He didn't lecture her. He didn't ask for explanations. He didn't chase reassurance. He simply stopped overextending. He lived his life. He hit the gym. He spent time with his kids. He got back to his routine. And that's when it happened. A few days later, Brianna felt it. She noticed the silence. She noticed the shift. She noticed that her actions actually had consequences for once. And inside her mind, something began to turn. She replayed the last week. She questioned her tone. She asked herself if she had pushed too far. Women revalue men when the man stops broadcasting his value. That's the paradox. When you stop telling her who you are and start showing it through your distance, she is forced to see it on her own. And seeing it on her own is what reactivates desire. This pullback works because it eliminates the pressure she felt and replaces it with accountability. She begins to realize that your attention isn't guaranteed, your effort isn't automatic, your presence isn't a gift she can take for granted. You become valuable again because you stop treating her like the center of your emotional world. And here's something powerful. Women feel the difference between a man who pulls back emotionally and a man who pulls back with purpose. One is fear, the other is strength. Jason wasn't afraid. He was simply self-respecting. That difference is what made her come back. Younger women are used to men chasing even harder when they pull away. But when a man moves in the opposite direction, when he steps into his own life, instead of clinging to hers, she suddenly sees him through a different lens. Your pullback makes her reflect. Your pullback makes her uncomfortable in the best way. Your pullback makes her realize she misjudged your value. And once she revalues you, she approaches differently, she speaks differently, she invests differently. She tries. Before we move on, drop a short line in the comments to anchor this truth. I pull back with purpose. Let's keep going because next we're breaking down the Stoic move that changes everything. You don't want to miss this. Number 10. The Stoic move that turns everything around. My friend, this final point is the one most men never master. It is also the one that separates a man she forgets from a man she chases long after the moment has passed. The Stoic move that flips everything is simple but not easy. It is the ability to remain emotionally unmoved while still being fully present in your own life. You stop fighting for her attention. You stop reacting to her distance. You stop trying to control how she feels. Instead, you control the only thing a Stoic ever cares about: your internal state. Women feel that shift immediately. When you are no longer shaken by her silence, her uncertainty, or her mixed signals, she feels something she didn't expect. She feels the presence of a man she cannot push off center, a man she cannot manipulate with mood swings, a man she cannot pull into emotional chaos. And whether she admits it or not, that kind of man activates her deepest attraction. This is where modern men fail. They think the goal is to convince her, win her over, impress her, ease her doubts. But the Stoic approach flips that upside down. You don't soothe her emotions, you master your own. When she pulls back, a reactive man asks, "What did I do wrong?" A Stoic man asks, "Is my reaction aligned with my values?" Two completely different worlds. You already saw through the earlier parts of this video how silence, distance, and detachment reset the dynamic. But this final move is different. It's not a reaction, it's not a strategy, it's an identity. A Stoic man chooses stability over approval, direction over distraction, self-control over emotional impulses. When you embody that, everything in the dynamic changes, not because you forced anything, but because she finally feels the truth: you want her, but you don't need her. Younger women especially respond to this. They are used to emotional instability. They are used to men getting thrown off center by the smallest shift. But when you stay grounded, they feel something rare, something masculine, something that awakens respect before it awakens desire. This is why the Stoic mindset is so powerful in dating. It eliminates desperation, it eliminates performance, it eliminates the emotional roller coaster that destroys a man's frame. Instead, you become the calm in the storm, the one place where she feels a different kind of energy. The Stoic move that turns everything around is not pulling back. It's not going silent. It's not reverse psychology. It is remaining unshaken. Your actions no longer come from fear. Your decisions no longer come from insecurity. Your words no longer come from a place of trying to be chosen. You have standards and you enforce them. You have a life and you live it. You have purpose and you protect it. And when she realizes she cannot pull you off your path, she begins to move toward you, slowly at first, then unmistakably. That is the moment the chase flips. Not because you manipulated her, but because you became the kind of man women naturally chase. This is the final shift, my friend. Not a tactic, not a game, a way of being. And once you step into this version of yourself, the entire dynamic changes forever. And that's what this video came down to. Understanding the psychology behind her behavior, the subtle shifts that make her chase you, and the stoic mindset that keeps you grounded, unbothered, and in control, no matter what she does. If you want to go deeper and unlock the full advanced strategies I can't share publicly, make sure to join the channel membership. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next video. There are compliments that women hear every day, and then there are compliments that go straight to their core, the kind they can't resist. That is what we're talking about today, my friend. Let's talk honestly. Most men keep giving women the same tired lines. You're beautiful, you look great, you're stunning. These compliments bounce right off a grown woman. A woman in her 40s or 50s has heard all of that for decades. It does nothing. It doesn't touch her. It doesn't move her, and it definitely doesn't make her feel anything deeper. But there is another level of compliment. The kind that hits her scent, her energy, her mind, her presence. Compliments that speak to who she is as a woman, not just what she looks like on the surface. And when a man knows how to use these compliments the right way, with calm confidence and masculine intention, something shifts. She feels seen, she feels desired, and she feels a spark she cannot ignore. That is what this video is for. Today, you will learn 10 forbidden compliments that women can feel in their body, in their mind, and in their heart. Compliments that are subtle, mature, and powerful enough to stand out in a world full of empty words. Use them wisely, and you will create a connection most men never even get close to. Let's get into it. Number 1. Your scent pulls me in. Listen, my friend, let's talk like grown men for a minute. A woman in her 40s or 50s has heard every basic compliment on earth. You smell nice. That perfume is lovely. These lines are forgettable. They land flat because they only describe the surface. But when you compliment a woman's scent the right way, it does something entirely different. It touches memory, emotion, and desire all at once. Scent hits the limbic system, the part of the brain tied to attraction and instinct, and that is why this compliment feels forbidden. It is not about the perfume, it is about the reaction she creates in you. Let me make this real with an example. Imagine a man named Daniel, 57. He works in finance, lives a steady life in Arizona, and has learned over the years that most compliments sound the same. At a charity dinner, he meets a woman named Vanessa, 52. Confident, elegant, the kind of woman who carries both history and strength inside her. When she walks past him, her scent hits him soft, warm, feminine, in a way that feels grown and grounded. He doesn't blurt out something generic. He waits. Later, when they're talking alone, he says one simple line, steady and calm. "There's something about your scent. It pulls me in." She hears that, and something shifts. Not because he praised the perfume, but because he revealed the effect she had on him as a man. Women at this stage of life do not want hollow admiration. They want impact. They want to feel the difference they make without trying. And scent is one of the strongest ways a woman expresses her femininity without saying a word. When you deliver this compliment, you are telling her she affects you on a level she cannot hide behind politeness or logic. You are telling her she has a presence that lingers. That idea stays with her long after the conversation ends. It makes her replay the moment in her mind. It makes her wonder why you felt something other men didn't notice. That curiosity becomes the beginning of connection. But here is where most men get it wrong. They comment on the perfume like it's an accessory. What are you wearing? Is that Chanel wrong? Approach. A mature woman does not want you to name the brand. She wants you to name the impact. Women remember how you made them feel, not how accurately you identified a fragrance. Daniel understood this with Vanessa. He didn't sound needy, excited, or performative. He sounded grounded, masculine, present. And because of that, the compliment worked exactly the way it was supposed to. It made her feel desired without feeling objectified. When you say, "Your scent pulls me in," you're saying, "I notice you, I feel you, I react to you, and I'm not afraid to admit it." That is intimacy without crossing a line, and desire without being explicit. It's the kind of compliment women rarely hear, and exactly the kind they can't resist. If you've ever felt a woman's scent pull you in like this, write it in the comments with the words, "I've felt that." Stick with me, because what comes next hits even deeper. Number 2. Your smile lights me up. Let's talk honestly for a moment, my friend. A grown woman has heard men compliment her smile her entire life. "You have a pretty smile. Your smile is beautiful." These lines slide right off her because they focus on the surface. They don't touch anything real. They don't touch anything emotional. They don't touch anything feminine. But when you tell her that her smile lights you up, you're not describing what she looks like. You're describing what she does to you. And that is the difference between a compliment she forgets in 5 seconds and a compliment she remembers for weeks. A smile, especially a woman's smile in her 40s or 50s, carries weight. It carries history. It carries everything she has lived through: love, loss, responsibility, disappointment, healing, and the strength she had to build along the way. When she smiles, it isn't just about her lips or her teeth. It's the warmth behind it, the softness she still has, the spark that refuses to die even after everything she has seen. When you tell her her smile lights you up, you are acknowledging the life inside her. That is why this compliment feels forbidden. It isn't shallow, it's intimate. Stoics understood this clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Her smile is the color she shows the world, the brightness she reveals, even when she's tired, stressed, or carrying 1,000 things no one sees. A smile like that doesn't just show appearance, it shows inner character. It shows emotional resilience. It shows how she has shaped herself. When you tell her her smile lights you up, you're telling her that her inner strength, her inner warmth, her inner softness still have an impact. A deep one. And here is the truth most men your age completely miss. Women don't react to compliments about their features. They react to compliments about their effect. Her smile affects the room, it affects the vibe, and it affects you. When she hears you say it lights you up, she feels something she rarely feels from men: seen, felt, recognized. Not as a pretty face, not as a woman who's aging gracefully, but as a woman whose presence still changes something in a man. And pay attention to this. A woman's smile becomes different depending on the man in front of her. If she feels safe, her smile softens. If she feels drawn to you, her smile lingers. If she feels curious, her smile appears even when she tries to stay serious. That tiny flicker, that tiny moment where she forgets to hide what she feels, is what you are complimenting. When you deliver this line, it must be calm, slow, steady, masculine, no excitement, no flirting tone, no nervousness, just a man speaking the truth. A compliment like this tells her 2 things at once. 1, she affects you emotionally. 2, you're grounded enough to admit it without losing your center, and that combination is rare. Women don't hear that from men who only look at the surface. They hear it from men who pay attention to their energy, their essence, their warmth. A smile that lights you up is a smile that shakes something in your chest, a smile that makes your day shift for a second, a smile that wakes you up a little. Every woman wants to feel she still has that effect, especially at this stage of life. And that is exactly why this compliment sinks deep. If you've ever felt a woman's smile hit you in a way you couldn't explain, write it in the comments with the words, "I've felt that." Stay close, because what comes next goes even deeper. Number 3. Your realness turns me on. Let's talk straight for a minute, my friend. Realness is rare, especially today. Most people walk around wearing masks. They say what sounds good, they hide their insecurities, they pretend they're happier, calmer, or more put together than they really are. But a grown woman who has lived real life does not have time for pretending. And when you recognize her realness, when you show her that her honesty, her flaws, her depth, and her unfiltered self actually turn you on, that compliment hits her harder than anything about beauty or body ever could. Let me make this real with a scenario you've probably seen before. Picture a man named Anthony, 56. He's been through divorce, raised his kids, rebuilt his career, and learned the value of peace. He meets a woman named Lauren, 51, at a community cooking class. She's warm, grounded, and carries herself like someone who has lived through storms and come out stronger. She doesn't pretend to be perfect. She laughs at herself. She talks openly about her challenges. She mentions mistakes she's learned from. She doesn't hide her past. She owns it. And that honesty makes Anthony feel something he hasn't felt in years. One night, during a group conversation, Lauren shares a story about messing up a major project years ago and how it forced her to grow. Everyone else gives polite responses, but Anthony feels something deeper. After class, when they're washing dishes together, he looks at her and says, steady and calm, "Your realness, that's what turns me on. You don't pretend. You're just you." You want to know why that line hits so deeply? Because women in their 40s and 50s are tired of being admired for the wrong things. They're tired of being complimented on beauty, youth, or surface-level traits. They want to be valued for the woman they've become, for the depth they earned, for the honesty they had to fight for. Realness is attractive because it's intimate. It means she isn't performing. She's letting you see her without filters. And when you tell her that her realness turns you on, you're telling her that her authenticity, her lived experience, and her emotional truth make her desirable as a woman. And here's something most men don't understand. A woman's realness is not softness. A woman's realness is strength born from loss, heartbreak, rebuilding, and growth. That's why it's powerful. That's why it's sexy. That's why it turns you on. When Anthony said that to Lauren, she didn't giggle or blush like a younger woman. She paused. She breathed in. She looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. Because he touched something inside her that few men ever bother to look for. He saw her, not her image, not her surface, but the woman she became through years of living. This is the kind of compliment a mature woman never forgets. It tells her she does not need to hide, adjust, tone things down, or pretend to be someone else. It tells her she can be fully herself and still be deeply desired. Deliver this line slow, calm, solid, masculine. No performance, no exaggeration, just truth. That's what makes it powerful. If you've ever met a woman whose honesty pulled you in, instantly write it in the comments with the words, "I've felt that." Stay with me because the next one unlocks an even deeper level of connection. Number 4. Your mind makes me want you. Let me level with you for a moment, my friend. A woman in her 40s or 50s has heard men compliment her looks for decades. She's heard men praise her body, her hair, her style, her smile. But very few men ever look deeper. Very few men ever tell her that her mind is the thing that pulls them in. And when you say it calm, steady, confident, it hits her harder than any physical compliment ever could. Because a grown woman knows one, truth, beauty fades, but her mind is something she earned, shaped, sharpened, and fought for. Her mind carries her experiences. Her mind carries her perspective. Her mind carries her strength and her softness at the same time. And when you show her that her way of thinking turns you on, you're telling her that her intelligence, her insight, and her worldview affect you as a man. That is a forbidden compliment, because it's not just about attraction, it's about respect. And women crave respect from a mature man far more than flattery. Stoicism fits perfectly here. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." A mature woman's thoughts are not random. They are shaped by everything she has lived through, raising kids, losing love, rebuilding herself, fighting for peace, protecting her boundaries. When she speaks from experience, not theory. When she shares an opinion, it comes from a place of depth, not ego. That's why her mind is one of the sexiest things about her. When you tell her, "Your mind makes me want you," you're saying, "I value the way you see the world. I value the woman you became. I value the intelligence behind your softness." This is a compliment that lands deep because it acknowledges her maturity. It acknowledges the life behind her words. And it tells her that you are a man who sees her fully, not just as a body, not just as a personality, but as a mind. And here's what makes this line irresistible. A woman's mind is where her intimacy begins. If she lets you into her thoughts, she's letting you into the most vulnerable part of her. Her mind is what shapes her emotions, her decisions, her reactions, her boundaries. And when you show that this is what draws you in, she feels understood in a way younger men rarely offer. Deliver this line slowly, smooth, grounded, masculine, not like you're reciting poetry, not like you're trying to impress her, just truth. You might say it after a deep conversation, after she shares something meaningful, after she reveals wisdom she doesn't offer to everyone, something as simple as, "The way you think, it makes me want you even more." Or, "You have a mind that pulls me in." I don't feel that often. When you speak like that, you create emotional and intellectual intimacy. And when a woman feels that level of connection, her attraction grows naturally, quietly, deeply, powerfully. Now, my friend, if you want to understand this kind of connection on an even deeper level, how women think, how attraction forms, and how to communicate with calm, masculine presence, this is exactly what we break down inside the private membership. That's where we go further than YouTube can ever allow. If you're serious about leveling up as a man, consider joining. If this resonated with you, write in the comments, "I want this." Stay close, because what's coming next unlocks an entirely different side of attraction. Number 5. Your energy stays on my skin. Let's talk like grown men for a second, my friend. A woman's energy is one of the most powerful things about her, but most men never learn to see it, feel it, or speak to it. They focus on her looks, her outfit, her smile, yet they ignore the one thing that lingers long after she walks away. Her energy, the way she makes you feel without touching you, the way she shifts the space around you without trying. When you tell a woman that her energy stays on your skin, you're not giving her a simple compliment. You're telling her that she leaves a mark on you, that her presence affects you physically, emotionally, and quietly. And that is something women cannot resist, especially women who have lived enough life to understand what real connection feels like. Let me make this real with an example. Picture a man named Craig, 58, a calm, deliberate guy who appreciates the subtleties people overlook. He meets a woman named Elise, 53, at a wine-tasting event in Northern California. She's elegant, composed, not loud, not flashy, but the kind of woman who carries a certain stillness. When they talk, Craig notices something that surprises him. Even after she walks away to greet someone else, he still feels her energy on him. It's not sexual in an obvious way. It's deeper. It's the sense of warmth she brought into that brief moment. The way she listened, the way she moved, the calm she radiated without forcing it. Later that night, he tells her in a low, steady voice, "There's something about your energy. It stays on my skin even after you walk away." Elise pauses, not because she's flattered, but because she feels understood. Women at this age do not want compliments about the obvious. They want compliments that recognize what makes them different from everyone else. And a woman's energy, that's earned. It comes from everything she's lived through and everything she's healed from. This is what most men forget. A woman's energy is her feminine signature. It's the softness she carries, the confidence she built, the calm she earned, the warmth she gives without meaning to. When you compliment that, you compliment the essence of who she is. You're telling her that she has a presence that lingers in ways she can't hide or fake, and that pulls her in. Craig understood this instinctively. He wasn't overexcited, and he wasn't trying to charm her. He was grounded, masculine, present. That's what made his compliment powerful. Because when a man is centered in himself, he can speak to a woman's energy without sounding needy or poetic. He sounds real, and real always hits deeper. A woman's energy stays with you when it clicks with something inside you. Maybe it calms you, maybe it wakes you up, maybe it makes you feel more like yourself. Women rarely hear compliments that speak to their presence, and when they do, it creates intimacy instantly. Not physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, the kind that feels like connection rather than performance. Deliver this line slow, my friend, with intention, not intensity. You have an energy that stays on me. I don't feel that often. Or, your presence. I carry it even after you're gone. When you speak like that, she knows you're responding to her essence, not her exterior. And that is something most men never give her. If you've ever felt a woman's energy stay with you long after she left, write it in the comments with the words, "I've felt that." Stay tuned, because the next part gets even more powerful. Number 6. Your kindness is powerfully sexy. Let me be real with you for a moment, my friend. Most men don't understand what kindness actually looks like in a grown woman. They think kindness means softness, weakness, or being overly sweet. But a woman in her 40s or 50s carries a very different kind of kindness. It is not naive. It is not passive. It is not something she gives freely to everyone. Her kindness is shaped by everything she has survived. It is a strength, a discipline, a form of emotional mastery. And when you look her in the eye and tell her that her kindness is powerfully sexy, she feels it in a place words can't reach. Because here is the truth. A mature woman's kindness is not automatic. It is intentional. It is earned. It is expensive. Stoicism explains this perfectly. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." But the Stoics also understood that kindness is not about being nice. It is about choosing calm over reaction, choosing generosity over bitterness, choosing warmth, even after life has given you 1,000 reasons to grow cold. When a woman reaches this age and she still offers kindness, she is showing you the depth of her character. That depth is what makes her attractive in a way youth never could. And this is where your compliment hits her so deeply. You're not praising her looks. You're not flattering her ego. You're recognizing the emotional strength behind her softness. Women like her rarely hear that. People take their kindness for granted. They assume she's naturally nurturing, naturally patient, naturally considerate. They don't see the effort, the emotional discipline, or the experience behind it. But when you tell her her kindness is sexy, you're telling her you see all the layers others ignore. And believe me, my friend, women in this age group crave that kind of recognition. Not for being beautiful, not for being impressive, but for being deeply feminine in a mature, grounded way. Her kindness shows in the way she listens, the way she speaks with intention, the way she handles conflict without drama, the way she comforts without losing herself, the way she supports without sacrificing her boundaries. That combination Warmth without weakness is extremely rare and extremely attractive. When you say, "Your kindness is powerfully sexy," you're telling her that her feminine nature doesn't just exist, it moves you, it affects you, it awakens something in you. You're telling her she doesn't have to compete with younger women for attention because her strength, her character, her maturity already stand out in a way youth cannot match. Deliver this line slowly, without charm, without exaggeration, without trying to impress her. Just truth, just presence, just a man speaking from a grounded place. You have a kindness that's powerful. It's honestly one of the sexiest things about you, or the way you treat people. That's the kind of femininity that pulls me in. When you say it like that, she feels acknowledged. She feels seen. She feels valued where it matters most. And she won't forget it. If you've ever been drawn to a woman's kindness in a way you couldn't explain, drop a comment with the words, "I feel this." Let's keep going because the next one unlocks a different kind of desire. Number 7. Your drive makes you irresistible. Let's talk straight, my friend. At this stage of life, drive is one of the most attractive things a woman can have. Not the loud kind, not the hustle for attention kind. I'm talking about the quiet, focused, built through experience drive that comes from a woman who has lived real life, a woman who has rebuilt herself, a woman who knows who she is and where she's going. When you tell her that her drive makes her irresistible, you're speaking to something far deeper than beauty. You're speaking to her identity. Let me bring this to life with a real grounded example. Imagine a man named Russell, 59. He's steady, direct, and he respects people who carry themselves with intention. At a leadership workshop for local business owners in Seattle, he meets a woman named Michelle, 54. She runs a small but successful interior design studio. Not flashy, not dramatic, just steady excellence. What stands out to Russell isn't her outfit, her makeup, or her looks. It's the way she talks about her work, the way her eyes focus when she explains a project, the way her whole presence sharpens when she discusses what she's building. That's drive, calm, competent, feminine, a kind of fire that doesn't burn loudly but burns deeply. During a break, while the group is chatting casually, he leans closer, not invading her space, just grounding his presence, and says, "You know, your drive is something else. It's honestly what makes you irresistible." She stops, not because she's flattered, but because she's seen. A woman in her 50s doesn't need a man to praise her beauty. She's heard it. She's moved past it. What she craves is recognition for the woman she has become, the discipline, the ambition, the resilience, the purpose. And when a man notices that something inside her shifts, most men don't understand this. They try to flatter younger qualities. They focus on body clothes, attention, superficial charm. But a mature woman knows her real value sits in what she has built. Her career, her growth, her healing, her direction, her internal fire. Drive is proof of character. Drive is proof of strength. Drive is proof of feminine depth. And here's what makes this compliment powerful. You're telling her that her ambition doesn't make her intimidating, it makes her attractive. Too many women are told to tone it down, slow down, or not be too strong. But a man who appreciates her drive is a man who isn't threatened by her. He's inspired by her, and that's rare. Russell didn't say it with excitement. He didn't say it to impress her. He said it as a man who knows what he's looking at. And because of that, Michelle remembers that line long after the workshop ends. Deliver this line slowly, my friend. Grounded, centered, direct. You have a drive that's magnetic. It's one of the reasons you stand out so much. Or, the more I hear you talk about your goals, the more irresistible you become. When you speak like that, you touch a part of her identity that very few men ever acknowledge. If you've ever felt drawn to a woman because of her ambition, passion, or focus, Drop a comment with the words, "I know this." Don't go anywhere, because the next part taps into something even deeper inside her. Number 8. Your warmth hits me deep. Let's get honest for a moment, my friend. Warmth is the one quality men underestimate the most in a mature woman. At 20, warmth is easy. It's untested. It's untouched by life. But at 40 or 50, warmth becomes something entirely different. It becomes layered, intentional, earned. It becomes a form of feminine strength that only shows up after a woman has lived, healed, rebuilt, and chosen softness, even when life gave her every reason to turn cold. And when you tell a woman that her warmth hits you deep, you're not complimenting politeness, you're acknowledging her essence. Most men never see this. They chase beauty, attention, flirtation, surface-level charm. But they don't notice the thing that actually stays with them when they go home at night. Her warmth. The way her presence settles your chest. The way her tone slows your mind down. The way her eyes hold something calm, alive, and quietly feminine. Her warmth is not about being sweet. It is about the emotional atmosphere she creates just by existing. Stoicism explains this beautifully. Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." Warmth is a view, an internal stance toward life. It is the choice to respond with compassion instead of resentment. It is the decision to stay open when it would be easier to shut down. A woman at this stage has seen enough of life to know how to guard herself. So if she still radiates warmth, she is showing you mastery, not fragility. That's why this compliment cuts deeper than anything about beauty. You're recognizing the strength beneath her softness. You're acknowledging the emotional maturity she fought for. When a woman hears that her warmth hits you deep, she feels appreciated for the woman she is today, not the girl she used to be, not the image she presents, but the inner feminine energy she carries. Her warmth shows up in the smallest moments. In the way she listens without interrupting, in the way she looks at you as if you matter, in the way she speaks with intention, not noise, in how she offers steadiness instead of drama, in how she notices the small things men often miss. And here's the part most men don't understand. Warmth is one of the rarest, most masculine triggering qualities a woman can have. When a woman is warm, a man naturally becomes more grounded, more centered, more himself. Her warmth awakens a part of him that has been numb for years. You're not complimenting behavior, you're complimenting impact. When you say, "Your warmth hits me deep," you're telling her, "I feel you. I respond to you. You affect me in a way most people don't." And that stays with her. Because women in their 40s and 50s often fear that the world no longer sees their feminine depth. They fear becoming invisible. They fear their softness doesn't matter anymore. But when a man recognizes that warmth, and not only recognizes it but is moved by it, she feels valued in a way she hasn't felt in a long time. Deliver this line slowly. Grounded, aware, solid. Something like, "There's a warmth in you that hits me deeper than you know," or "The way you carry yourself, it settles something in me." Say it without charm, without performance, without rushing, just truth. Because her warmth is not surface level. It's a story, it's a journey, it's a quiet form of femininity only life can shape. And when you speak to it, you speak to the heart of who she has become. If you've ever felt a woman's warmth sink into you in a way you couldn't explain, drop a comment with the words, "I feel this." Let's keep going because the next part brings all of this together in a powerful way. Number 9. Your presence changes me. Let me talk to you straight, my friend. A woman's presence is one of the deepest forms of feminine power, but most men never learn to recognize it. They get distracted by looks, by charm, by the obvious. But the truth is this: when you're around a grown woman whose presence hits you, you feel it in your breath, your chest, your posture, and your mindset. She doesn't have to flirt. She doesn't have to touch you. She doesn't have to try. Her presence alone shifts something in you. And when you tell her, "Your presence changes me," that compliment lands in a place nothing superficial can reach. Let me make this real with a situation you've probably seen in your own life. Picture a man named Mark, 58. Divorced, stable, grounded, the kind of man who doesn't get shaken easily. He meets a woman named Dana, 53, at a small business networking event in Denver. She's not the loudest person in the room. She's not trying to impress anyone. But something about her presence cuts through the noise. The way she stands, the calm in her eyes, the softness she carries without losing her strength. It's not dramatic, it's not showy, it's steady, feminine, centered. When they talk, Mark feels something he hasn't felt in years. His breathing slows, his shoulders drop, his thoughts get clearer. It's like she grounds him without even touching him. After their conversation, he walks away, realizing something simple. Her presence changed his energy. Not because she said anything magical, not because she was trying to be charming, but because the woman she has become carries a different kind of weight, emotional weight, feminine weight, the kind of presence only life experience can create. The following week, during a quieter moment, he looks at her and says, "I don't know if you realize this, but your presence, it changes me, in the best way." Dana doesn't blush, she doesn't giggle, she doesn't act surprised. She pauses, breathes in, and really hears it. Because at 53, that's the kind of compliment she doesn't get anymore. Not about beauty, not about youth, but about her impact as a woman. And here is what makes this line powerful: a woman's presence is the result of decades of shaping herself. Her boundaries, her calm, her emotional intelligence, her strength, her softness, her healing, all of that becomes the atmosphere she carries. And when you tell her her presence changes you, you're acknowledging not what she looks like, but who she is. Most men never see it. They rush, they judge, they talk too much, they never slow down enough to feel a woman's presence. But a mature man like you, like Mark, knows that presence is everything. A woman with a peaceful but powerful presence can shift a man's entire energy without trying. And here's the part she will never forget. When you say it, you're telling her she matters, not for her appearance, not for her performance, but for her essence. That is rare. That is intimate. That is masculine. When you deliver this compliment, keep your voice steady, low, honest. Something like, "Your presence does something to me," in the best way. Or, "I feel different when I'm around you," more grounded, more myself. Deliver it slow, let it breathe, let her feel the truth of it. If you've ever felt a woman's presence change your whole energy, drop a comment with the words, "I feel this." Don't go anywhere, because the final part brings everything together with a powerful truth. Number 10. Your feminine essence pulls me closer. Let me talk to you with complete honesty, my friend. This last one is different from everything we've talked about so far, because this isn't about her scent, her smile, her mind, or her presence. Those are pieces, important pieces, yes, but her feminine essence is the whole picture. It's the part of her that you can't explain, logically, can't measure, can't categorize. It's the feeling she gives you just by being who she is. And when you tell a woman, "Your feminine essence pulls me closer," you're speaking to the deepest, most private part of her identity. A woman's feminine essence is not about age, beauty, or the surface. It's the emotional gravity she carries. It's the softness she chooses, not the softness life gives her. It's the calm she radiates when others fall apart. It's the emotional intelligence she built through real experiences. It's the way she brings warmth into a room without raising her voice. It's the way she can be gentle and strong at the same time. And most importantly, it's the way she makes you feel more like a man without ever trying. That is what pulls you closer. Most men don't know how to talk about this because they've never slowed down long enough to feel it. But a mature man notices things younger men miss. He notices the quiet confidence. He notices the grace in her movements. He notices the way she comforts without controlling, guides, without pushing, listens, without judgment. Her essence is what stays with him long after their conversation ends. And here's the truth. A woman's feminine essence is shaped by everything life put her through. The heartbreaks she overcame, the boundaries she built, the peace she protected, the resilience she earned, the softness she refused to let life take away. That combination, strength wrapped in softness, is the core of her feminine energy. And when you speak to that, you're not flattering her. You're acknowledging the deepest part of who she is. This is why the compliment is forbidden, because it's intimate, it's personal, it's emotional truth. It's the kind of compliment a man can only give when he has clarity about what he feels. When you say, "Your feminine essence pulls me closer," you're telling her, "There's something about you that goes beyond the surface. Something I feel in the quiet moments. Something I respect as much as I desire." You're telling her she affects you in a way you don't feel often. You're telling her she brings out a more grounded, more masculine, more centered version of you. And deep down, every woman wants to know she has that effect on a man. Deliver this line with calm confidence, not intensity, no performance, no poetic tone, just truth. Something like, "There's a feminine energy in you that pulls me closer without you even trying." Or, "You have a softness and strength at the same time. It draws me in." This kind of compliment reaches a level physical attraction never touches. You're speaking to her inner womanhood, her emotional maturity, her depth, her essence. And when a woman hears that from a man who is grounded, steady, and self-aware, she remembers it. Not because it flatters her, but because it names a truth she feels in herself, but rarely hears reflected back to her. That is why this is the final and most powerful forbidden compliment. It doesn't just make her feel wanted, it makes her feel understood as a woman. You've just learned 10 forbidden compliments that cut deeper than anything surface level. These are the compliments that speak to a woman's scent, her energy, her mind, her presence, and the feminine essence she's earned through real life. When you use them with calm confidence, you connect with her in a way most men never will. If you want to go further, understand attraction on a deeper level, and learn the tools I can't share publicly, join the private membership. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next video. She doesn't crave compliments. She craves the man who sees what others miss. Let's be real, folks. Most men fire the same lines. "You're beautiful, you're amazing, you're different." It's noise. You try to be charming, you try to be nice, and somehow she smiles and moves on. The truth, surface praise dies fast. What lasts is recognition, the kind that touches her confidence, her mind, and her kindness. That flips a switch. Here's the shift. You stop praising what's obvious and start speaking to what's rare. You read her presence, not her face. You notice discipline, not just style. You respect the stillness she uses to hold a room. That's where attraction lives, not in louder words, but in sharper awareness. I'm here to help you wake up, not to coddle you, my friend. In this video, I'll give you 3 compliments women secretly crave and almost never hear, each one clean, specific, delivered with calm, masculine energy. You'll learn when to say them, how to mean them, and why restraint beats flattery every time. We'll keep it practical, stoic, effective. You want her attention to linger, speak to the parts she protects. Appreciation with evidence. Desire with discipline. Less performance, more presence. That's how a man becomes unforgettable without trying too hard. Stay close. Simple to learn, hard to fake powerful when done right. Let's get into it. Number 1. Confidence that calms. Let's talk about a kind of confidence most men overlook, the quiet kind. the one that doesn't need to prove, perform, or overpower. It's the energy that makes a woman relax around you, not react to you. You see, confidence that calms isn't loud, it's steady. It's that still, composed presence that says, I know who I am, and I'm not here to impress. Now here's where most guys mess it up. They confuse arrogance with assurance. They think confidence means talking louder, taking up space, or trying to dominate the room. But that's insecurity in disguise. True confidence doesn't chase validation, it creates gravity. It's the calm in the middle of chaos. And women feel that instantly. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine Mark, 32, sitting across from Emily, 28, at a small wine bar. Mark isn't trying to impress her with stories or bragging about his job. He listens more than he talks. When Emily shares something, he looks her in the eye, not with hunger but with attention. When she pauses, he doesn't rush to fill the silence, he lets it breathe. And that's when she starts to lean in. She feels seen, not sold to. That's confidence that calms in action. Women crave that energy because it makes them feel safe, not protected from danger, but safe to be themselves. When a man carries composure, she can drop her guard. And here's the twist. That's when attraction deepens, because calmness to a woman signals power. It tells her, this man can handle life and me. Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's Stoic confidence. It's not about controlling her reaction, it's about mastering your own. When you don't need to prove your worth, your presence proves it for you. This is why you never compliment her just to fill space. Your words carry more weight when they come from a place of control. Instead of blurting, you look beautiful, try something like, there's something grounded about you, it's refreshing. See the difference. You're not admiring her looks, you're recognizing her essence. It's not flattery, it's awareness. And here's a little secret, women. Remember how they felt around you, not what you said. If your presence calms her nerves, if she feels her thoughts slow down when you're near, you're already ahead of 90% of men. Confidence that calms is magnetic because it's rare. In a world full of noise and ego, being still is seductive. It's not submission, it's control. It's power without display. When you embody that, every word, every pause, every look becomes amplified. So if you want her to miss you when you're gone, don't try to stand out. Stand still. Be the anchor in her storm, not another gust of wind. Because the truth is, when a man can master silence, composure, and presence, he doesn't chase connection, he creates it. And in the next part, we're going to explore something deeper, the kind of compliment that doesn't just sound good but hits her on a level she can't explain. Stay tuned. Number 2. The compliment that hits deeper. Most men compliment what they see. Few ever compliment what they feel. And that's why most compliments die at the surface. They sound nice, but they don't land. The truth is, a woman hears you're beautiful 100 times a week, sometimes before lunch. It doesn't move her anymore. But when you say something that touches her identity, that's when she pauses and remembers you. The compliment that hits deeper isn't about her body, her face, or her clothes. It's about who she is when no one's watching. It's about recognizing the part of her that even she doubts people notice. That's where attraction becomes emotional, not physical. And this is what most men will never understand. You see, flattery is cheap. It feels good for a moment, then fades. But recognition, true subtle recognition, leaves a mark. When you tell a woman, there's a stillness in you that's rare, or you have a way of making people feel safe without trying, you're not just giving a compliment. You're holding up a mirror to her best self. Here's the Stoic truth. People crave acknowledgement of their character, not their decorations. Seneca once wrote, "The wise man seeks approval only from himself." But here's the twist. When you show a woman that you see her wisdom, her restraint, her quiet strength, you're not giving her approval. You're giving her recognition. And recognition is the highest form of desire. because it tells her you're seen, not just wanted. Now let's talk about the psychology behind it. When a compliment connects to her identity, it bypasses her defense mechanisms. Most women are used to hearing compliments from men who want something, so they filter everything. But when your tone is calm, your words precise, and your delivery slow, she feels the difference. You're not chasing validation, you're giving clarity. You're reflecting something true, something she forgot was visible. This is why the best compliments don't need exaggeration. They're grounded in truth and delivered with restraint. Say less but mean every word. Women can feel the difference between authenticity and performance. The compliment that hits deeper is born from observation, not imagination. And here's a powerful Stoic reminder from Epictetus. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Before you ever deliver a meaningful compliment, watch her. Listen to the words she uses, the pauses she takes, the way her energy shifts in conversation. When you truly listen, you'll start to notice what makes her human, not just what makes her hot. That's the art, the dark psychology of subtle recognition. You don't tell her what every man says. You tell her what no one's been present enough to see. It's not manipulation, it's awareness sharpened by discipline. A Stoic man doesn't flatter. He observes, understands, and acknowledges without needing anything in return. That's what gives his words power. Now I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments and tell me I speak truth. Because real men don't flatter, they see. Stick around, my friend. What comes next will change the way you approach every conversation and every connection you'll ever have. You don't want to miss this. Number 3. Mind before beauty. Here's something most men never figure out. Beauty fades fast, but intellect seduces forever. You can't fake genuine curiosity, and women can feel when you're only paying attention to their looks instead of their mind. The truth is, when you start seeing her as more than a face, she starts seeing you as more than another man. Let's paint a picture. David, 41, divorced 2 years ago, meets Rachel, 36, at a networking dinner. She's stunning, the kind of woman who turns heads just by walking in. But instead of the usual compliments, David asks her something different. What keeps you motivated when everything feels stuck? She pauses, surprised. Most men talk about her eyes. He just asked about her purpose. Suddenly the air shifts. Her body language relaxes, her voice softens. For the first time that night, she's not performing. She's present. This is the foundation of real connection, the mind before beauty. Because, let's be honest, my friend, the physical draws her in, but the mental anchors her interest. When you stimulate her thoughts, you trigger emotions no surface compliment ever could. Women crave that, not a man who simply stares, but one who sees. You want to make her miss you. Talk to the part of her nobody bothers to reach, her thinking self. That's where attraction grows roots. And this is where most men lose. They focus on chasing validation through appearance. They mirror her looks instead of her intellect. But as Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your conversations are shallow, her impression of you will be too. Depth is what paints permanence. When a woman meets a man who values thought over appearance, he stands out instantly. Because he's rare. He's not hypnotized by beauty, he's intrigued by the human behind it. That's magnetic. It tells her you're grounded, not desperate. Confident, not compliant. She senses that your interest isn't fleeting, it's focused. And here's the kicker, when you connect through her intellect, physical attraction multiplies. You elevate her perception of you. You become a man she respects, not just desires. That's the balance of masculine energy and Stoic awareness. Control your attention, and you control her imagination. When you talk to her, ask questions that reveal her substance. Don't chase her charm. Challenge her thoughts. Compliment her ideas, not her eyeliner. When she shares her beliefs, respond with curiosity, not approval. That's how you make her think about you when you're gone, not because of what you said, but how you made her feel seen for her mind. Remember this, the Stoic man doesn't seek amusement, he seeks understanding. He doesn't react to beauty, he studies character. That mindset alone separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. So when you meet a woman next time, slow down, observe, listen. Let your composure speak louder than any compliment. She'll start wondering, why does his attention feel so calm and so addictive? That's when you know you've reached a level most men never touch: attraction, born from intellect, not impulse. Now I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. I see deeper. Because the moment you start valuing the mind before beauty, the game changes forever. And stay with me, because the next part reveals a shift most men never master, one that makes her feel your presence even when you're not around. You don't want to miss this. Number 4. Speak to her soul, not her looks. Let's be honest, my friend, most men talk at women, not to them. They fire off surface compliments hoping to sound charming, but what they're really doing is blending in. Because when your words only reach her appearance, they vanish the moment you stop speaking. But when you speak to her soul, your words echo long after you're gone. Here's the hard truth: every woman knows she's being watched, but very few ever feel understood. When you speak to her soul, you stop chasing attention and start commanding connection. And that's the shift that separates a man of depth from a man of impulse. The difference lies in intention. Complimenting her looks is easy, anyone can do that. But recognizing the quiet strength behind her actions, that takes awareness. It's what the Stoics called discernment, the ability to see clearly without being blinded by beauty. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." In the same way, men fail not because they talk to women, but because they misjudge what women truly crave. She doesn't want your approval, she wants your presence. She doesn't need flattery, she needs truth, delivered with calm confidence. When you speak to a woman's soul, your tone slows. You're not selling, you're seeing. You're not throwing words hoping one sticks. You're choosing each one like it matters, because it does. The right words spoken with sincerity can pierce through her defenses faster than charm ever could. Imagine this moment. She's laughing, her guard is down, and instead of commenting on her smile, you say, "You have an energy that makes people feel safe to be real." That lands differently. It's not about her looks, it's about her impact. And when you acknowledge that you give her something no compliment about beauty ever can validation for her essence, the Stoic man understands this deeply. He speaks with purpose, not emotion. He chooses silence when others chase attention, because he knows that speaking to the soul means listening first, understanding her rhythm before adding your own. That's real power. When you reach that level, your presence becomes magnetic. You stop needing to impress because your authenticity does it for you. She'll sense that you're grounded, that your words carry weight. And trust me, that's what lingers in her thoughts when she's alone. The memory of a man who saw her truth and spoke it out loud. That's the art, my friend. Speaking to her looks might catch her eye, but speaking to her soul, that captures her respect. And from that respect, desire grows naturally. Now, before we go further, I want you to remember something important. This mindset isn't just about attracting women. It's about mastering presence, restraint, and emotional intelligence, traits of high-value men who live with stoic calm. If you're ready to learn this at a deeper level and get exclusive lessons that I don't share publicly, join our private membership community. That's where we go beyond words and into mastery. But right now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with, "I speak truthfully." Because men who speak truth to the soul don't just attract, they transform every interaction they have. Stay tuned, because what's next will show you how to use silence and energy to pull her in without saying a single word. You don't want to miss it. Number 5. Kindness is power. Let's get something straight, my friend. Kindness isn't weakness. It's one of the rarest, most masculine traits a man can show. But here's the catch. It's not about being nice. Niceness is performative. It seeks approval. Kindness is deliberate. It's controlled strength. It's compassion without compromise. And when done right, it draws women in faster than arrogance ever could. See, the problem is that too many men mistake kindness for submission. They bend over backward to please, hoping to earn affection. But what they don't realize is that women don't fall for men who please them. They fall for men who inspire them. And kindness, when backed by strength, does exactly that. Let's look at a real situation. Michael, 38, owns a small business. He's confident, quiet, and focused. One night he meets Laura, 35, at a friend's dinner party. She's used to men showing off, talking big, trying to prove something. But Michael's different. When she speaks, he listens fully. When the waiter spills wine near her, he doesn't panic or make a scene. He just smiles, grabs a napkin, and helps calmly. No show, no ego. Just quiet control. She feels it instantly, that mix of gentleness and authority. It's rare. It's magnetic. That's what I mean when I say kindness is power. It's not about doing things for her. It's about doing things without losing yourself. It's about leading with calm strength. A Stoic man practices this daily. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. You don't talk about your values, you live them. You don't tell her you're different, you prove it through your composure. When a woman encounters that kind of energy, something in her softens. She feels safe, not because you protect her physically, but because you project inner peace. You become an anchor in a world full of noise. But let me be clear, this isn't about being overly giving or constantly available. It's not kindness born from fear, it's kindness rooted in discipline. A Stoic man can walk away at any moment. His kindness is a choice, not a tactic. That's what gives it value. Michael didn't chase Laura after that dinner. He let the conversation breathe. A few days later, she reached out, curious, drawn, unsettled by how seen she felt without him trying. That's the power of balanced kindness. It stays with her. It lingers. You see, when you act with genuine kindness, you create emotional safety. And emotional safety is one of the deepest forms of attraction. It doesn't scream, it invites. It doesn't demand attention, it earns it. So, my friend, never confuse coldness for strength. Real power is knowing when to be firm and when to be kind. Women can sense that distinction instantly. It's not your dominance that makes her trust you. It's your discipline. Now I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. I lead with calm. Because the men who understand this don't need to prove they're powerful, they embody it. And stick with me, because the next part reveals something that flips everything, the art of mystery through presence, not words. You'll want to hear this. Number 6. The presence she feels, not sees. Let me tell you something, most men don't get your presence speaks long before you open your mouth. It's not about how you look, what you wear, or even what you say. It's about the energy you bring into the room. Women don't just see presence, they feel it. They can sense when a man's grounded, centered, and in control of himself. And they can sense when he's not. You ever notice how some men walk into a room and instantly change the atmosphere, not by being loud, but by being still? That's not luck. That's emotional mastery. It's the Stoic ability to stay unmoved, to project calm in chaos. Women pick up on that immediately because it signals safety and strength, two things that trigger deep attraction on a subconscious level. Most guys try to be seen. They perform. They adjust their behavior to impress, constantly seeking validation in her reaction. But presence, true presence, doesn't chase attention. It creates attention through silence and control. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's what presence is, self-mastery in motion. It's when your mind, body, and emotions align. You're not fidgeting, not checking your phone, not waiting for approval. You're simply there, comfortable in your own skin. That's when a woman feels something different around you. She can't name it, but she can feel it. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to impress, you become unforgettable. Because she's surrounded by men who want her attention. But you radiate composure. You're not chasing her vibe, you're holding your own. That quiet strength draws her in. She starts leaning toward your energy, mirroring your calmness. This is Stoic seduction, not manipulation but control of self. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you live by that, your presence becomes magnetic. You stop reacting to her beauty, her words, her energy. Instead, you let her react to yours. Presence isn't about dominance. It's about peace. It's about being so centered that your calm becomes contagious. Women feel that. They crave it. In a world full of anxious approval, seeking men, your stillness becomes your superpower. And when you talk, it's deliberate. When you move, it's intentional. You're no longer playing the social game of how do I look or what should I say next. You're operating from awareness, not performance. And that, my friend, is how a man commands respect without demanding it. Presence is what lingers after you leave the room. It's the reason she keeps thinking about you when she shouldn't. It's not your words, it's the energy behind them, the unspoken stability she felt in your silence. So stop worrying about being noticed. Focus on being felt. Practice stillness. Train your emotions. Control your breath, your reactions, your tone. Let the chaos around you move, but don't let it move you. That's Stoic dominance. That's masculine serenity. Now I want to hear from you. Type it in the comments, "I am centered." Because the man who controls his presence controls the room and the woman who's in it. Stay tuned, because the next part reveals the subtle shift that makes her chase your mystery instead of your attention. You'll want to hear this one. Number 7. Compliment her restraint. Here's the truth, my friend. Most men don't even notice restraint. They reward what's loud, obvious, and easy to see. But the men who understand women on a deeper level, they see what others overlook: the self-control behind the charm, the quiet discipline behind the beauty. And when you compliment a woman's restraint, not her display that hits her right in the soul. Let me paint you a picture. Chris, 42, recently started dating Elena, 38. She's confident, stylish, and has a quiet poise that most men misinterpret as disinterest. One night, they're sitting across from each other at a dimly lit jazz bar. He notices how she pauses before responding, how she doesn't interrupt, how she chooses her words carefully. Instead of the usual "you're gorgeous" line, he looks at her and says, "You know what's rare about you? You don't need to fill the silence. You're comfortable in it." She freezes for a second, surprised, because that's something no man has ever said to her. That compliment doesn't stroke her ego. It validates her discipline. It acknowledges her feminine power of composure. That's the moment connection shifts. You see, restraint is a form of strength. And when a man recognizes it, he's signaling that he understands emotional depth, that he operates from a higher awareness. Women are drawn to men who can see the invisible qualities, because it tells them, "You're not just attracted to my surface. You understand my essence." The Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That applies here too. A woman who practices restraint isn't withholding emotion. She's mastering it. She's not being distant. She's being deliberate. Complementing that shows emotional intelligence, and to a high-value woman, that's pure attraction. When you tell a woman she's beautiful, she appreciates it. But when you tell her she has composure, presence, or discipline, she remembers it. Because it's not about what she has, it's about what she chooses. You're acknowledging effort, not genetics. Now here's where most men miss the mark. They confuse restraint with disinterest and end up chasing harder, trying to break through her calmness. But what if instead you respected it? What if you mirrored it? When you meet her restraint with your own, you create tension. That's the masculine-feminine balance at its peak. And that's what Chris did. He didn't rush the date. He didn't try to fill every pause. He mirrored her energy, held her gaze, and spoke when it mattered. By the end of the night, she was leaning in, not because he pursued her, but because he matched her restraint with quiet strength. That's how chemistry builds naturally, not from force, but from balance. Women don't forget the man who recognizes what others miss. They remember the one who sees the effort behind elegance, the calm behind confidence. Complimenting her restraint tells her, "I value depth more than display." And that's something every feminine woman craves, being seen not for how much she gives, but for what she holds back. So the next time you meet a woman who carries herself with quiet confidence, don't rush to break her shell. Honor it. Let your words reflect her poise. Now I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. I see strength. Because a real man recognizes that the most powerful form of beauty is restraint. And stick with me, because what's coming next dives into a deeper layer, the kind of presence that pulls her toward you, even when you say nothing at all. Stay tuned. Number 8. Desire in disguise. Let's be real, my friend. Desire isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up in words, glances, or obvious flirtation. The truth is, women rarely express attraction directly. Instead, they disguise it through subtle gestures, careful restraint, or moments of silence that speak louder than any compliment ever could. And if you don't know how to read that, you'll miss everything that's actually happening right in front of you. Most men make the mistake of chasing what's visible, the smile, the laugh, the thank you. But attraction, real attraction, hides in the spaces between those things. It's in the way her tone softens when she talks to you. It's in the pause before she replies. It's in the look that lingers half a second too long. That's desire in disguise, quiet, controlled, and incredibly powerful. Here's the secret: women express interest in a way that protects their dignity. They test to see if you can feel them without forcing them to spell it out. Because to a woman, subtlety is safety. And when a man is calm enough, present enough to pick up on that energy, she starts trusting him. Why? Because he's not reacting impulsively. He's attuned. This is where Stoicism gives you an edge. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Attraction works the same way. The men who can sit in tension, who don't need instant validation, who can sense desire without grabbing for it, those are the men women can't forget. Because restraint amplifies chemistry. Think about it: when you rush to confirm or chase her interest, you dissolve the tension she's building. But when you stay composed, when you let the silence stretch, when you respond with a calm smile instead of need, you're feeding the energy instead of breaking it. That's the art. You're showing her that your masculinity doesn't depend on her reaction. Desire in disguise is everywhere. It's in her testing comments, her little disagreements, the way she accidentally brushes your arm or mentions something you said days later. It's not manipulation, it's her way of communicating interest indirectly. And the men who rush miss the signal completely. But the Stoic man doesn't rush. He observes. He reads between the lines. You see, what women really want isn't constant validation, it's understanding. They crave a man who feels their signals but doesn't overreact to them, because emotional control in the masculine makes her feel safe in her feminine expression. She can flirt, test, or tease without fear that you'll lose your composure. That's when attraction flows naturally. So when you notice those subtle cues, don't jump in. Let them breathe. Match her tempo. Respond with steady, grounded energy. You're not proving anything. You're holding space. That's how you turn silent tension into magnetic connection. Remember, the Stoics taught self-command for a reason. Control yourself, and you'll command the energy around you, including hers. So next time you sense desire, hiding behind her restraint, don't ask for confirmation. Smile slightly. Say less. Let her curiosity grow. That's how you make her chase what she thought she was hiding. Now I want you to own this mindset. Drop it in the comments. I feel energy. Because the men who sense desire in disguise don't need to chase it, they attract it. Stay tuned, because what's next reveals how to turn that unspoken tension into something unforgettable without saying a single word. Number 9. The rare energy of a Stoic man. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you met a man who truly radiated calm? Not fake calm. Not I'm pretending to be chill. I mean the kind of stillness that commands respect without a single word. That's the energy of a Stoic man, and it's rare. So rare, in fact, that when a woman encounters it, it instantly separates you from every other man in the room. Let's take an example. Ethan, 34, works in marketing. A few months ago, he met Rachel, 31, at a dinner party. Everyone was talking over each other, loud, animated, trying to impress. But Ethan, he didn't rush to fill the silence. He listened. When he spoke, his voice was calm, measured, almost grounding. He wasn't trying to win anyone's approval, and that energy changed the atmosphere around him. By the end of the night, Rachel wasn't drawn to the guy who made her laugh the most. She was drawn to Ethan because he felt like stability in a world full of noise. That's the rare energy I'm talking about. Women don't consciously say, I want a Stoic man, but they feel it instantly. It's not about suppressing emotion, it's about mastering it. A Stoic man doesn't let chaos dictate his mood. He doesn't overreact when things don't go his way. He understands that control isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling himself. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The Stoic man embodies that. He can stand in discomfort, in tension, in attraction, without flinching. And that makes women feel something deeper than charm or looks trust. Because here's the truth, women crave emotional safety more than anything. They want to feel that no matter what happens, you won't crumble under pressure. And in a world of impulsive men chasing quick validation, the man who's grounded becomes magnetic. Ethan didn't need to chase Rachel. He didn't compliment her every 5 minutes. He simply held his frame steady, unshaken. When she leaned in, he didn't move closer. When she teased him, he smiled but didn't react. That's what pulled her in. Because deep down, women don't want to lead, they want to feel led. And emotional steadiness is leadership in its purest form. Now don't confuse this with being cold. A Stoic man feels, but he chooses when and how to express those emotions. His calm isn't detachment, it's presence. It's the kind of composure that says, I'm in control of me, not the world. When you reach that level, your energy shifts. Your words carry more weight. Your silence becomes louder than another man's flattery. You don't demand attention, you attract it. Because real power is quiet. Women pick up on that immediately. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel safer, more feminine, more open around you. That's the paradox of Stoicism. By being calm, you awaken emotion in others. So, if you want to be unforgettable, stop trying to impress. Start mastering your reactions, train your stillness, control your breath. And remember, when you can stand in chaos without losing your peace, you become the rarest man in the room. Now, I want you to lock this mindset in. Drop it in the comments. I am unshakable. Because the world doesn't need another loud man chasing approval, it needs more men whose silence says everything. And trust me, in the next part we're taking this to a level that even most Stoic men never reach. Stay with me. Number 10. The compliment she'll never forget. Let's end this with something most men never master: the art of the unforgettable compliment. I'm not talking about the cheap kind, the "you're so beautiful" or "you have nice eyes" that every woman's heard 1,000 times before. I'm talking about the kind of compliment that stops her, the kind that goes beyond her surface, past her smile, and lands somewhere deep in the part of her that rarely feels seen. Because, here's the truth, my friend, every woman is surrounded by noise. Attention, validation, empty flattery. It's everywhere. So when your words stand out, it's not because they're louder. It's because they're real. They show that you've noticed something no one else has. That's what she remembers. A compliment that lingers doesn't describe her, it reveals her. Let's say you're talking with a woman, not flirting, just being present. You listen. You notice how she pauses before speaking, how she looks away when she's thinking. Instead of saying "you're smart," you say "you think before you speak." That's rare. That's not just a compliment. That's validation of her essence. You've seen something she doesn't advertise. That's the compliment she'll replay in her mind later, not because of how it sounded, but because of how it made her feel. This is the psychology behind what I call impression-based praise. You don't describe what's visible, you describe what it means. When you say "you're confident," it's shallow. But when you say "you move like someone who doesn't need attention," that hits differently. You're telling her you understand why she stands out. Women crave that level of understanding because it's emotional intimacy disguised as observation. It's saying, "I see you, not just the image you show, but the person behind it." This approach is rooted in Stoicism too. The Stoics believed in perception, that wisdom is found in seeing clearly, not judging superficially. Seneca wrote, "To be loved, be worth knowing." The Stoic man flips that to love, deeply learn to truly see. When you give a woman a compliment that reflects her depth, you aren't feeding her ego, you're touching her spirit. You're showing her that your attention has weight, that your interest isn't random, it's earned. But here's the part most men miss timing. The most powerful compliment is the one you don't rush to give. You let the moment breathe. You let her earn your words through her energy, not her looks. That creates anticipation, tension, and authenticity all at once. When it finally comes, she knows it's real. And when it's real, she'll never forget it. I remember hearing about a man who told a woman once, "You seem like someone who never forces her smile." That single line stayed with her for years. Because it wasn't a compliment about beauty, it was about being. That's the difference between validation and recognition. Validation fades, recognition transforms. So when you speak to a woman, don't try to make her feel pretty. Make her feel understood. Because beauty is everywhere, but understanding, that's rare. And the man who can recognize a woman's strength, grace, and restraint in a world obsessed with surface, that's the man she'll remember long after you're gone. That's the compliment she'll never forget. So, my friend, what you've just learned isn't about tricks or lines, it's about awareness. Every compliment, every silence, every glance we've talked about in this video comes down to one thing: understanding the deeper psychology of attraction. When you speak to a woman's soul instead of her surface, when you lead with calm instead of chaos, when you master your emotions instead of chasing hers, you stop being just another man in her life. You become the man she feels, even when you're not around. That's the real power of masculine energy grounded in Stoicism. It's quiet, it's deliberate, it leaves an imprint that no words can match. If this kind of depth and control is something you want to develop further, consider becoming a member. You'll get access to advanced lessons, exclusive breakdowns, and the inner teachings that separate the strong from the average. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this is where we train your mind, sharpen your presence, and build the kind of masculine frame women crave, but rarely encounter. Thank you for watching, my friend. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.